And joining me at this time, I can have a show of this magnitude, and like without this guest, former NWA Women's Champion. This at this point has more championships than I've lost count, and I'm very happy to be Kacee Carlisle on the air right now. How's it going, Kacee?
It's going.
I'm good. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me on.
And, 6-year anniversary on the show, and I think we need to get right to it. I think this has been a battle as to who I've interviewed. Is who or kind of woman of honor. She was Mary Elizabeth Monroe. Now she's Kelly Klein.
Mm-hmm.
This all times to her. You've been on the show, so I'm just gonna crown you the most interviewed champion on this show.
You're giving me the title to keep track of, Penny.
I might as well. I can't afford to hand you a championship, but I guess it's just call it an honorable mention. I guess you could say.
I'm okay with that. I accept any and all honors. So thank you. I'm now the champion of your show.
Yeah, the interview champion.
I'm okay with that.
So
I'll make a little tiara made out of, a piece of notebook paper or something.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Kacee, let's get caught up with you. What's been going with you lately? How's your wrestling career been? Getting a chance to do what you enjoyed for so long. How you been?
I'm honestly, it sounds kind of the same. I've a lot of traveling, a lot of going, a lot of keeping busy, and it's the good kind. So I have no complaints, my friend. I really can't complain very much about it. I'm very lucky not only to be able to be wrestling in the first place, fortunate to be in the ring at all and living out my dream, but to be and the opportunity to work with as many promotions and in many different areas as I do. I'm very fortunate, so it's good stuff. It's going on along.
Being a champion, it definitely holds an importance to anyone in any other sport. What does it mean the most to you when it comes to being a champion, when a company or a brand comes up to you and say, hey, we want you to be the champion of our company, regardless if you are a regular or you show up at times? Like, what does it mean to you to be a champion for any?
For me, when it comes down to that, any time a company, regardless of the letters that come in his name, where they may be located, what their territory might be, or in what city are they headquartered, anything like that. And in my opinion, a company wants to crown you their champion and therefore have you as, kind of the pinpoint, for their company, and that is whether you are the men's weight champion or light cruiserweight or anything like that, or the women's champion. For me personally, as I was saying again, regardless of who it is, where it is, anything like that, if somebody wants you to be their champion, I think first and foremost it should be an honor because, with the sheer number of active wrestlers that there is today, it's, in my eyes, it's almost like being booked in a way. I always tell everybody to get so big for their britches that they're turning down bookings left and right thinking, well, I'm too good or I'm better. That to that point eventually. However, that being said, if someone wants to bring you into their event, if you bring something to their event that's going to attract, going to increase their face value or add some value in some way to their company, it should be a compliment. And holding a title is the same, just on a larger scale. A compliment, resembling in many ways to that highly of you and your work, because I think champions should be based on not only in the ring but away from them as well. It's a compliment and it's an honor, and it's that you are going to be the face of the company in that sense. Then it's something to take seriously, and it's regardless. It's something that you should be proud of, and that you should always keep in the back of your mind that you are representing that company, whether it be to the rest of the wrestling world or to the fans or whomever. And it's just a good feeling. Anytime you receive any type of acknowledgement or accolade or something along those lines, it should be a good feeling and it should be a compliment, and that's how I take it.
A really good. It's like when you're a champion, there's a company and peers counting on you to be a champion, to conduct yourself in a good manner. There are some people out there that it, but they I guess that they let the pressure get to them at times, or they let they get distracted, or whatever the case may be. And everybody can be a champion. It's just a matter of hard work and dedication, and just reaching for that brass ring. Whether it's wrestling or whether it's football or basketball, I guess wrestling is different. Different circumstances or whatever the case may be. And you definitely fit the mold as a champion. You definitely are of what a champion should be, not just in the ring but outside. I tell you, the occasions, and reputation matters. And I've never heard a bad thing about Kacee Carlisle. And I'm not just talking about the character when fans boo you and stuff. I'm talking about you as a person. You conduct yourself in a class act, and that makes it very good for promoters to keep bringing you back to these shows, whether it's to compete in a singles match, tag team match, champion match. Like you're popular, not just because of your talent, but you're popular because of your character and how you conduct yourself. And I feel like that's a good thing. And I had an interview recently with a lady wrestler by the name of Natalina Corvino. I don't know if that name rings a bell or not, but
it does.
I asked her who are some of her influences in wrestling. She can name a pro wrestler or indie wrestler. She mentioned China and you as an when you hear something like that from a fellow indie wrestler, what's that feeling like?
In many ways, it's the same feeling. It's it's flattering. It's humbling. If I can in any way serve as a role model or an inspiration to any female or any, I don't give a crap about gender. If I serve as an inspiration or some type of role model in some manner, to anybody, then that's an awesome feeling. And to know that one of my peers, the respect, wrestlers say it all the time, and honest to God, it's because it's true. The respect of our peers, I know that that's true for me. I know it's true for the majority of other wrestlers. It is such a great feeling to know that the fans hold you on a pedestal and that they look at you a certain way. And it's a great feeling, of family for the most part. You're always going to be number one to them and your friends and so forth. But your peers is different because they know all of the ins and outs. They know the, truly like the grind and the meat and potatoes, for lack of a better expression, of what we go through and what goes into it. We have that insight, we have that intel, and just that little bit more of an umph of knowledge that somebody outside the business would have. So to me, and I think that's true in any profession, the respect of peers means so much and is so humbling and is really, flattering. Flattering and humbling are the two most, two most accurate adjectives I can give that, because that's just how it feels. So to hear that one person does, if many people do, whatever, it's cool and it's a great feeling. I'm very flattered and humbled by it.
That's the way to go. Anyone that is, you're doing something right, and there's a lot of women out there, good talent, but they don't know who to look up to. They don't know who to see who does it the right way. I'm a person who people can look up to. That's Kacee Carlisle. I'm not a wrestler. I'm just a fan. I watch matches.
Well, thank you.
That's all I can do at this point, because in some capacity I try to get you here to Kentucky. I guess Kentucky, they do things differently. With the license and everything, I guess you have to purchase a license or something like that. I don't know. And I did want to ask you. I don't think I've ever asked you this in the many times I've had you on the show, but now I try to get people here in Kentucky. I try to say, hey, woman that travels. Her name's Kacee Carlisle. She's very talented in the ring. She's a class act, and I think she will be a great addition to your show, regardless of what you doing. Like, as far as does the license play a role as to which shows or which states you've been able to wrestle to, or is it more than that?
Are you asking specifically, or just as a general,
I guess in
blanket statement?
I guess in general.
Not every state requires a license. Some do. Not everyone does. Do you require a license? It's on the wrestler 99% of the time. It's on the wrestler to go through the process of obtaining that, and doing whatever's needed to obtain it and so forth. Again, I'm not going to say it's 100% of the time everywhere, but it's most of the time. And so obviously I can't speak for other wrestlers, and I can't speak for promoters or bookers or so forth, but I would imagine that could play a part in whether or not you see somebody appear at a particular promotion. It might be a situation where the wrestler doesn't feel as though the and the financial requirement of obtaining the license, they think maybe they would be traveling to that state and frequently. They might think it's not worth it to go through the effort. The promoters involved simply may have an interest in how many requests they get or what they hear or don't hear. Some promoters simply don't base their booking on that. They use who they're already familiar with, or who they're buddies with, or who is nearby, which in theory would be equivalent you would to a lower pay. So you never know exactly what it is. That's one of the things that makes professional wrestling is really, you could line up 10 promoters, you could line up 10 wrestlers and ask them all the same question, and you could get 20 different answers. And that's truly just how the business is. You can't really make too many blanket statements because states are regulated differently, promotions are run differently based on who's running them, the whys and the hows and the methods and the ins and outs could all be different. So it's very hard to make blanket statements as far as this is why this does happen or doesn't happen. It's just hard to pinpoint for that reason.
Okay. I guess all I know as it pertains to Kentucky, that you do have a wrestling license.
Correct. Yeah, that's
So,
true.
um, so that has been uh, the thing for a lot of wrestlers that I know that would like to be in Kentucky, wrestle in Kentucky, but circumstances says otherwise. So,
It's hard to say, and to be quite honest, I actually like the fact that you are expressing that you're so in the dark about it. To me, I still, when it comes to certain things, don't necessarily like seeing the curtain pulled back all the way. And so, when it comes to things like that, my brain saying, well, why would fans get mad at you? It's just a blanket statement that I'm saying, if I'm almost happy to hear that you are still in, because that's going around talking about the ins and outs of business. Whoever, right? So, excuse me, on one hand, I'm kind of happy to hear that, Kenny.
well, although I am a quote-unquote award DJ, thanks to people like you who voted for me, I guess I still don't have that much of a stick around here. So I guess I'll
All
keep.
you can do is try.
Yeah. So and for the love of God, Kentucky wrestling promotions. There's a lot of good promotions out there. Y'all really need to get Kacee Carlisle out here, uh, so she can showcase her talent, and show what she can do. She's proven in Indiana. She's proven in the West Virginia. She's proven in Virginia, the Carolinas, among other states. She is the busiest female indie pro wrestler that I know of, because you're on the road literally every weekend, at this point. So, thing, I guess that's between you and the promoter to sort out. That's beyond my control.
Absolutely.
All I can do is say, hey, there's a that wants to do some shows outside of what she's familiar with. You should consider booking her or whatever. So fans, it's possible to get your favorite wrestlers on the indie scene on the shows. It's just a matter of who is willing to do it, and if they're willing to add new faces on the show every now and then. If not every, then just once in a while. Now, I went through there's one of my favorite wrestling websites is wrestlingtees.com. It's a website where wrestlers for indies, pros, they got their own t-shirt store. And you already got your own website. You got the autographs, ring gear, and things like that. Now you got your own t-shirt store. That's pretty cool. I need to add a Kacee shirt to my collection.
That I highly encourage. I think that there's 4 you should add to the collection, in fact.
I keep that in mind if my will allow. As far as you've done so much in your career. You have accomplished a lot. You've won the NWA Women's Championship. Has there ever been a point of your life when you ask yourself, how long do I have left? How many more years do I have left? Because wrestling does take a toll on the human's body. Do you have you ever had that thought as to how long you see yourself doing?
I try not to. I try not to have those thoughts, because I don't even want my brain to shift into the gear of thinking, how long do I have left, or how much longer will I be able to, or how long will my body hold out. To me, when it comes to that type of thing, ignorance is bliss in a way, and the less I think about it, then the less it's in my mind. I'm a firm believer in the fact that you don't start acknowledging things, or, they don't start getting to you or becoming an issue until you start to acknowledge them. I don't have a good example right offhand, but wrestling takes a humongous toll on your body, and it's one that even in 2017, I think that the general public and fans and so forth still don't completely comprehend and completely understand just how damage even a straight up, non-high risk singles match can do to you. So the truth of the matter is, do I feel 12 years I've been and wrestling and everything else? I do. My body definitely feels it. I'm spend a lot of time icing and so forth. But, the truth of the matter is I'm also a firm believer that you don't start to and really truly feel the effects until for me, this is the love of my life, and I in every interview I do, and it's my longest relationship, and it's because it's a relationship that even if we have a little spat or a little issue or something, we're still going strong, and I won't quit it because it's my heart. So fully intend to wrestle and be active as long as I can be without becoming unsafe in the ring or dangerous to my opponent or anything. And even when I'm done wrestling, if I have my way, I'll still be able to be involved in some capacity, whether it be training, which would be amazing because I love training people, or it was simply, helping to book shows or something. Standing here talking to you right now today, I would like to say that I have at least a few years left physically in the ring, and then after that, hopefully there would be a spot for me, but I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. And plan too far ahead. I just try to take it match day by day. And you never know what the business has in store for me. It might chew me out and spit me out, chew me up and spit me out, or we might have a lovely another several years ahead of us. So who knows? I'm literally shrugging my shoulders at you right now. Who knows? It's hard to
Understandable. One of the things that athletes don't want to, think too much about. You want to do this for as long as you can, as long as your body is able to withstand, the physicality. So, I hope I do get a chance to see you before you hang up the boots. But at the end of the day, it's up to you and how far you are willing to go. You definitely have accomplished a lot over the course of your career. You have names, um, not just for indie wrestling scene, but for women's wrestling altogether. And there'll be a lot of good talent wrestlers, but there'll never be another Kacee Carlisle.
Well, thank you.
Inside the ring,
Thank you. That means a lot.
Keep going for as long as you can. Do what you got to do. Now, upcoming shows, because we all know you're away. So go ahead and let people know about the upcoming shows we have coming up that people need to check.
Well, starting with this weekend, which is going to be Saturday the 22nd, I'm going to be in Bourbon, Indiana, making my debut for Ring. And I was originally scheduled to be wrestling Shauna Reed on Saturday night, but I actually was just informed yesterday evening that unfortunately she has suffered a concussion and is going to be out of action. So I'm now going to be in a mixed tag team match, and unfortunately I don't know the names of all the participants in the match, but I will still be there, and I will still be in action. So that's this coming Saturday in Bourbon, Indiana, and then next I travel back to the Pacific Northwest, and I have 3 shows lined up out there. I'll be on Friday the 28th. That's going to be in Surrey, Canada, for ASW facing Liza Hall, and then on Saturday I will be making my debut for the Pacific Wrestling Federation in Port Orchard, Washington, facing Sunny Days, and then the next night on Sunday the will be up in for IWA Blue Collar, and I'll once again be 20 days. The match is going to be for her Pacific Northwest Women's title, so that'll be a title match. And after going into May, on Saturday, May 6th, I am back in Virginia, in Waynesboro, Virginia, for AWE. It's a Nine of the Legends show. It's a really big show that they have lined up, and it's to benefit the Children's Hospital. So I'm going to be there as part of a three-way match. They also are going to be having, they have people coming in. They're going to have Hornswoggle. Ron Simmons is going to be there. Ken, I believe, is going to be there. C.W. Anderson will be there. Kid is scheduled to be there. I believe Sanjay Dutt's going to be there. So pretty big benefit the UVA Children's Hospital, and that's and then after that, I'm lined up straight through the summer. So the best thing people can do is follow me on my website and my social media to see exactly when and where area, and buy their tickets and come out and support some good wrestling.
KaceeCarlisle.com is the official website. That's where you can check out all Kacee Carlisle, from merchandise to photos to upcoming shows, etc. And just check it out and add some Kacee Carlisle to your collection, whether it's autographs or T-shirts, and get some wing gear added to your collection as well. Before I let you go, you mentioned wrestling in relationship. We all have that one thing or one person that we love and we admire and we appreciate, and the significance. Every now and then it tends to get on our nerves. It could be something small, something big. Has there ever been a point of your career where the wrestling industry gets on your nerves? Something that stands out, whether it's wrestlers or promotions or things like that. Has there ever been a point of your career that wrestling has gotten on your nerves?
Yeah, really frequently, actually. Wrestling gets on my nerves about something all the time. And it's one of those things. It's little Kacee pet peeves, or I see people acting in certain ways, certain, or certain matches that might make me cringe more frequently than others. But yeah, honestly, there's something about the wrestling business that gets on my nerves pretty frequently. But number one, I think that happens to everybody. I think it's silly to think that there's a perfect anything out there. And number two, that's why I say it's a relationship. And even though there are things that get on my nerves about it, that in no way negates or less I have for it. My love for wrestling far, far out the things that might annoy me for a little bit, and then I'm over it. Badly, that it leaves a bad taste in my because even through all its changes and its morphed and evolved over time and so forth, it's still professional wrestling to me, whether it wants to be called something else by others or not. It's going to be pro wrestling. That's who I am. And, even if I get annoyed by something, it's not going to be me up.
And I get that. That's always going to be some small petty stuff or, some pet peeves. It comes with the territory. And like you said, nothing what people do for a living is perfect. If it is, then I want to know where and how can I sign up. But that's highly. So, you got to take the good with that and just, know that there are people that care about what you do and that there are people out there that support you. And at the end of the day, that's what truly matters, is the support from the fans. Pay their tickets to see Kacee Carlisle, perform. And Kacee, thank you so much for being on, and just being who you are as a being. And wrestling business is great because of people like you. Um,
Well, thank you.
so
That means a lot to me, and I very much appreciate it. Thank you.
and continue to do what you do, continue success, and I will continue to try to continue with my hashtag Kacee Carlisle to Kentucky. Well,
Excellent. Keep it going. You never
yeah,
know when someone will listen to you.
yeah. All it takes is
Persevere.
all it takes is one, I guess, to say yes.
Absolutely.
So uh, your type of yes thing, but thank you again, Kacee. Keep doing your thing. Have a good day.
Thank you, Kenny. I appreciate it.